Since the agreement is signed, I said, it's time you all learned the truth. What do you mean? Janie frowned. Relief washed over me as I exhaled. At last, it was ending. I clapped my hands sharply and turned toward the entrance. Come in. A few seconds later, two figures stepped into the hall. One was a gray-haired man in a tailored suit, his face lined with age but his eyes sharp as a hawk. Detective Marcus Hale, the same officer who'd handled Jeremy and Janie's fatal car crash 18 years ago. The other was a woman in a crisp business attire, carrying a leather briefcase emblazoned with the logo of a top law firm, Clara Bennett, my attorney for the past decade. The hall fell so silent you could hear a pin drop. Jeremy's face drained of color, Janie's hands began to tremble, and my in-law's smiles froze mid-expression. The Grant family members exchanged confused glances, their eager anticipation for drama turning to unease. Detective Hale? My father-in-law, Henry, stood up abruptly, his voice cracking. What are you doing here? This is a private family celebration. Detective Hale ignored him, his gaze sweeping over Jeremy and Janie like a searchlight. Jeremy Grant, Janie Winston. It's been 18 years. You two certainly know how to play dead. Janie let out a shrill cry, clinging to Jeremy's arm. That's a lie. We were in a car crash. Everyone saw the wreckage. You investigated it yourself, detective. I did, Hale said, pulling a folder from his coat pocket. And what I found back then was a carefully staged accident. A stolen car, swapped license plates, fake blood, and two people who vanished without a trace, right after transferring all of Jeremy's assets to offshore accounts under Janie's maiden name. Gasps erupted around the room. My sons stumbled back, their faces pale with shock. What are you saying? Scott asked, his voice trembling. Our dad didn't die? Jeremy stepped forward, his jaw clenched. This is ridiculous, Allison. What have you done? You hired a detective to spread lies about us, because you're bitter about the divorce? Lies? I laughed, a cold, sharp sound. Let's talk about lies, Jeremy. Let's talk about how you faked your death to escape the $2 million debt you owed to the mob. How you left me with nothing but a mortgage and two newborns you didn't even want, because they were the product of your affair and would ruin your perfect image. I turned to Janie, my gaze cutting. And you weren't just his mistress, you were his accomplice. You helped him steal the money, stage the crash, and disappear. You left me to raise your children while you two lived like royalty in the south of France, spending the money I worked my fingers to the bone to protect. Clara stepped forward, opening her briefcase and laying out a stack of documents on the nearest table. These are bank records. For the past 18 years, Jeremy Grant has been living under the name Julian Moore, transferring funds from offshore accounts to support a lavish lifestyle, villas, yachts, private jets. All of it funded by the assets he stole from his wife, Allison Grant. She flipped to the next page, holding up a photo. This is a picture of Jeremy and Janie in St. Tropez, taken 3 years ago. Notice the diamond necklace Janie's wearing? It's worth more than the mortgage Allison paid off alone while raising their children. Janie's face turned ashen. That's not, I didn't. You didn't what? I asked, stepping closer. You didn't know Jeremy was stealing from me? You didn't know he left me to starve while you dined on caviar? Or did you just not care? My sons stared at Janie, then at Jeremy, their expressions a mix of betrayal and confusion. Is this true? Sammy asked, his voice breaking. You didn't die? You left us, left mom to raise us alone? Jeremy reached out to them, but they pulled away. Son, let me explain. Explain what? Scott shouted. That you faked your death to avoid paying your debts? That you abandoned us because we were a mistake? That mom spent 18 years sacrificing everything for us while you two partied in Europe? The Grant family members were in chaos. Lillian, Jeremy's sister, stood up, pointing at Janie. You lied to us. You told us you loved Jeremy, that you were devastated by his death. You let us feel sorry for you. My mother-in-law, Wendy, collapsed back into her chair, her hands covering her face. How could you do this, Jeremy? How could you abandon your children, your family? Henry, ever the pragmatist, turned to Detective Hale. Is this legal? Can he be arrested for faking his death? Faking death is just the start, Hale said. He's also wanted for fraud, embezzlement, and conspiracy. The mob he owed money to has been looking for him for years. They're not known for their mercy. Jeremy's eyes widened. You can't do this, Allison. We're family. The boys are my sons. Your sons? I scoffed. You didn't change a single diaper. You didn't stay up with them when they had fevers. You didn't work 3 jobs to pay for their school supplies, their medical bills, their college applications. You didn't sacrifice your own happiness, your own family, to raise them. I did. So don't you dare call them your sons now. I turned to my boys, my voice softening. Sammy, Scott, I never lied to you. I told you your father died because that's what everyone believed, what I believed, until 5 years ago, when Detective Hale contacted me with new evidence. I didn't tell you the truth because I wanted you to have a normal childhood, free from the shame of your father's betrayal. I wanted you to believe you were loved, even if he couldn't be bothered. Tears streamed down Scott's face. Why didn't you tell us sooner? Why did you let us think he was a hero, a martyr? Because I wanted you to be proud of yourselves, I said. I wanted you to know that your success wasn't because of him, it was because of you, and the love we shared. I didn't want his mistakes to define you. Janie suddenly lunged at me, her face twisted with rage. You bitch, you ruined everything. We were supposed to be a family. We were supposed to have our happy ending. Clara stepped between us, pushing Janie back. Stay away from her. You have no right to touch her. She's the one who raised your children, who kept them safe while you two ran away from your responsibilities. Detective Hale pulled out a pair of handcuffs. Jeremy Grant, Janie Winston, you're under arrest. You have the right to remain silent. Wait, my sons shouted in unison. They stepped between Hale and Jeremy, blocking his path. Don't arrest him. The hall went silent again. Everyone stared at them, shocked. I felt a pang in my chest. After everything, they were still defending him. Sammy, Scott, what are you doing? I asked, my voice trembling. He's our father, Sammy said, his jaw set. We deserve to hear his side of the story. We deserve to know why he did it. Jeremy seized the opportunity, his eyes filling with fake remorse. Thank you, son. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I made a mistake, a terrible mistake. I was young, I was scared. The mob was threatening to kill me, to kill Janie, to kill you too. I thought faking my death was the only way to keep you safe. Lies! I shouted. You didn't care about their safety. You cared about your own skin. But my sons weren't listening. They'd been starved for a father's love for 18 years, and even this flimsy excuse was enough to make them cling to the hope of a relationship with him. Mom, please, Scott said. Just give us a chance to talk to him. Let us decide what to do. I looked at them, my heart breaking. I'd raised them to be kind, to be forgiving, but this was too much. Jeremy had betrayed them, betrayed me, and yet they were still willing to give him a second chance. Detective Hale hesitated, looking at me. Ms. Grant, what do you want to do? I can arrest him now, but if his sons are willing to testify on his behalf, it could complicate the case. I took a deep breath, weighing my options. I could have Jeremy arrested, sent to jail for the rest of his life. I could make Janie pay for her part in the conspiracy. But what would that accomplish? It would tear my sons apart, make them hate me for taking their father away, again. Let him go, I said, my voice steady. For now. But I want a restraining order. He's not allowed to contact me, or the boys, without my permission. And if he so much as steps foot near us, I'll have him arrested immediately. Jeremy let out a sigh of relief. Allison, thank you. I won't let you down. I'll make this right. For the boys, for you. I didn't believe him. Not for a second. But for my son Sake, I was willing to give him a chance to prove me wrong. Clara nodded. I'll draft the restraining order immediately, and I'll make sure his assets are frozen until we can sort out the embezzlement charges. He won't be able to run again. As Jeremy and Janie left the hall, escorted by Detective Hale, the Grant family members turned to me, their expressions a mix of shame and admiration. Allison, we're so sorry, Wendy said, her voice trembling. We had no idea. We thought Jeremy was dead. We thought you were just being stubborn by raising the boys. I didn't respond. I didn't care about their apologies. All I cared about was my sons. They approached me, their heads hanging low. Mom, we're sorry, Sammy said. We didn't mean to hurt you. We wanted to know him. I pulled them into a hug, holding them tight. I know, and I'm sorry I didn't tell you the truth sooner. But I want you to know, no matter what, I love you. I'll always love you. And if you decide to have a relationship with him, I won't stand in your way. But I need you to be careful. He's hurt us once. I don't want him to hurt you again. They nodded, tears still streaming down their faces. We will, Mom. We promise. The banquet was over. The guests left quietly, the air heavy with the weight of the truth. My in-laws stayed behind, offering to help clean up, but I sent them away. I wanted to be alone with my sons.